All right. Can you hear me, everyone? Welcome back to BET Talks. I'm going to assume that we are also streaming to YouTube. I know normally we are streaming to Facebook. Today we are streaming to YouTube because I am on my iPad. If you see the clouds and the sun beyond me, you probably can't tell where I am, but I'm out here in sunny California and San Diego. Just left LA yesterday. Again, spending time with the family, much needed and long overdue. But you know that doesn't stop what we do here on BET Talks. We're always excited to bring some information to you and more importantly, to bring our young people to you. So in the last couple of weeks, just to update you so you know where we're going with this show today. Well, last week, of course, we celebrated mothers. So Mama, I know you weren't on there. When I say Mama this time, I'm talking about the parent of Nakia Dillard, who is the founder and CEO of I Can Ask. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But Mama, happy Mother's Day to you. And I'm saying it today because we celebrate you every day, just like we celebrate all mothers every day. So thank you for joining us on today. But in case I forgot, I had to give you that shout out now.
Okay, thank you.
And when I tell y'all, I wasn't able to be on there last week because my daughter graduated from Clarion University. Woohoo! So we were out celebrating together with family and friends. Of course, we were socially distanced, taking care of business the way we should. But so proud of you, Jada. Keep up the good work. But I tell you, our special guest, Valda, you did an awesome job, leading BET Talks along with Jay, Olivia, and Brandon, who always do an exceptional job. And they celebrated mothers. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, too, because I was really proud and inspired by the things that our young people said about their mothers. And then the week before, which is going to be the main focus of today, we just had youth talking. I mean, we weren't adults. We weren't really allowed to say too much of anything. Sometimes I had to pinch myself. I'm like, oh, no, is that where the thinking is? Oh, goodness. And I used to call some of it stinking thinking, although our young people, in the youth council, they're pretty good. So it wasn't that much thinking going on. But adults, we got to be careful. We move so fast. We don't communicate enough with our children. And effective communication is what matters. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. This time, we can talk back and forth, though, because I'm going to bring up some of those conversations today. And so I want y'all to chime in. Unfortunately, if you're on YouTube, you can't chime in the same way, but I gave you the link. Feel in to pop in if you want to be a part of the conversation. All right, so with that in mind, I'm going to introduce at least one of our key hosts of today because he's here every week. Jay Olivia is our co-host, but she had to run out, to a quick job, either interview or something, but she's returning because she don't like missing BET Talks. So Brandon, good afternoon, Brandon. How you doing today?
Hello, everybody. Doing good.
All right, that's what's up, man. I can't see you yet, so we want to see you. All right, but in the meantime, young people, you probably don't even remember. Do you remember any of the conversation that y'all had a couple of weeks ago, things that stuck out? I mean, how do you feel about, communicating? And how did it feel just letting the kids talk without us being able to say anything? And how do you think it's going to be different today when we're allowed to give some feedback? And introduce yourself, of course.
I'm actually trying to get a little bit settled, so I'll turn my camera on in a minute. But last week, I'm used to being the one giving questions, so it was very strange, and very strange just answering questions from other people, and not only that, but answering questions without having any feedback on it. That was really, really difficult for me because I'm used to, trying switching the narrative of the conversation by feedback. And so without being able to get that information from other people, it was really difficult to try to, form a conversation. But it worked.
All right, cool. All right, we like it. All right, well, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. For those who don't know you, we know, the whole world just about knows you now, but just in case, and give them your thoughts on BET Talks and what this is about.
Okay. Hold on. Okay.
And by the way, y'all, Brandon just turned 14 this past week. So celebration. Oh, yeah, celebration time. Happy birthday to you, man.
Thank you. All right. Just did a lot of work trying to get settled. But my name is Brandon McDonald. I am your co-host for BET Talks, and I'm also the BET Youth Council president. I've been president for a couple of years now, and like Uncle Rich said, my birthday was last week, and I just turned 14. So thank you everybody for the happy birthdays. But yeah, I can't wait to have a new conversation today.
All right, cool. All right, well, thank y'all for joining. All right, so I'm going to start this topic today for the fellas. Mama, I don't know what you think about this, but one of the conversations that came up 2 weeks ago, we talked about what it was to be a gentleman, because, they talked a little bit about the police brutality. And in one of the videos, in fact, I'm glad you're on here, Nadia. In one of the videos that we saw, there was, of course, we know that someone, unfortunately was shot and killed, while getting ready to stab another young lady. And so we had a long conversation about that. But on the side, Nadia noticed that there was a young man that was kicking a lady. And so we asked the question to the young people. We couldn't respond. What are your thoughts? And so some of them was like, hey, it's a girl, you ain't supposed to do that. At least one of the kids said, oh, look, no, girls are different now. They tough. If they fighting, they hit me, I'm hitting them back. And then some more people chimed in, some agree and some disagree, because things have changed in the world. And so my question to you, Mama, why I got you on here is, as a woman, what's your mentality about that? Are things changing where, we talk about equal rights, is it equal? Should we be, hitting girls if they hit us? I mean, we know what they say old school. I want to hear your thoughts before we turn it back over to these gentlemen, since we have gentlemen on this line, because now we can talk back and forth as to why we agree and disagree. What you think, Mama?
Well, I do have a issue with men hitting women, but the point is, nobody should be hitting nobody. If you don't want to be hit these especially these times, then if you don't want to be hit, then don't hit. Don't do it. Because people are going to retaliate, and things are so different now. And girls, these girls will kill you just as fast as the boys will. So you have to be ready to protect yourself no matter what. I got 2 sons, so I don't want them to come home and their eyes are blacked and all this extra stuff because a girl or a woman decided to put their hands on them. Just keep your hands to yourself. Simple as that.
I hear that. And y'all heard it straight from old school mama. She said she ain't down particularly with the guys putting their hands on girls, but she said it's a little bit different. And I'm gonna share this story too, and then you tell me what your thoughts are on this, mama, and then we're gonna go to those young men. Okay. I remember growing up, my sister used to hit me all the time, and I knew I couldn't hit her back because I'd be in some serious trouble. And then I remember one day my mom said, "You know what? I know she's doing it on purpose. We ain't hit her back, And I never got a chance to hit her back. I'm not saying I would, because when my sister heard that, I guess she didn't want to take a chance. What you think?
I think you well, I had brothers growing up, and if they looked like they was going to hit me, I was already ready to jump at them. But they were younger than me, but they were big, But
what was the rules around your house? Were they allowed to hit you back?
Well, it was a different type. It wasn't a peaceful type atmosphere.
Gotcha.
So in different households are different, the different scenarios and what the kids be going through, Sometimes it's just them venting out that makes them want to hit everything around them,
Gotcha. So you mentioned your son. So in your household, what's your rule?
Well, I don't have no girls, but I demand respect. And I know that my sons would not hit a woman unless I know they wouldn't hit a woman. I just feel as though they wouldn't, but I think they would prevent them from hitting them. You understand? Because you can restrain people. You can restrain them to keep them from harming you.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And that's funny. That's kind of where I am with it. When people ask me too, you mean tell me if a girl hit you, you ain't gonna hit her back? I was like, I doubt it. I said, I'm gonna use the same word you did. I said, I restrain in a minute.
Yeah.
Especially if I know I can. We know some people can be brutal. So, you definitely want to defend yourself, because I ain't gonna let nobody just harm me. But I will, I did. I say, I'll restrain in a minute, hold real tight, because I ain't trying to get hurt.
Real tight, and then push you away far enough so you'll fall. And
Yeah,
take
there
time
you go.
to get up. Take time to get up. To
there you go.
Sometimes that fall knock the wind out of them for a minute.
I hear that right now. For those who listen, we ain't promoting this stuff. I just want to make sure y'all got this clear. And that's why it's important to have these conversations, because people can take out of this stuff what they want. The goal is, unfortunately, like I said, I never had to. And part of that, honestly, is because I never try to put myself in a position to, because there are things on both sides of the fence that can increase that. It's not often that unless somebody's just trying to rob or something like that, it's not often that, you can't prevent it way before it happens, except when they're being silly. Because that old school, if you like a boy, you go hit them. Boys, if they like the girls, they go chase them. That was a little different.
Do they still do that now?
I don't know. Let's ask them. Hey, Nakia, Brandon, Zaire, do y'all still do that? The girls like you. Do they hit you? Do they chase you? Do you hit them back? You chase them? What's up with that? How is it now?
I understand the concept that older adults see all kids in the same category, but we a little too old for that.
I don't know. I see y'all outside sometimes. I ain't gonna say nothing. I just wanted to see what y'all gonna say first. Mm-hmm. So, is that because you turned 14 last week? Is that what it was?
No.
Now you told, it wasn't like that when you was 13.
Yes, it was.
How about your buddies? Because I know, Brandon, you in the old school, role. You just turned 14, but we know you was 14 years ago too. So it might not count for you the same way. But when you over at the park and over at the schoolyard, you don't see that happening.
Listen, I can't speak for nobody that's in my crew. I can only speak for how they or what they do when they're alone time. I can only speak for what they do when I see them, and when I see them, they don't act like that.
All right. That's cool. All right. And Nadia, what you think? Zaire, what you think?
I don't think it's like that, where it's like you like somebody, like you go hit them and stuff. But it's kind of like you can just tell when somebody you can just tell when someone likes another person, because they might mess with them a little bit, or they might be like around them a lot or talking to them a lot. But you can just tell. It's not really like you go and hit them like that, or like just messing with them all the time. But yeah, you can kind of tell. It's kind of hard to explain, but you can just tell.
Oh, you can just tell. Okay. All right. What do you think, Zaire?
I feel like sometimes it's hard to interpret if they're doing it because they like you, or if they don't. Because the type of person I am, I always like to second guess and really nitgrit and stuff when actions happen. But yeah, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes, but sometimes it is really easy to, understand if someone's doing it just to mess with you.
Okay. All right, now I'm gonna go backwards. So Zaire, you first on this one. Zaire, and then Nadia, and then Brandon. So suppose they were hitting you, whether because they like you or hitting you. What's your take? You old school, you new school? What's your take on the hitting back? And I don't know if you saw the video, Zaire. I know Nadia did, because we talked about it. I know Brandon did, but when the young man was stomping the girl on the ground. But just your thoughts about that part. Are you old school, new school? What's your take on it, Zaire?
My take on it is I feel like I'd be more of school again, because I'm not trying to get it wrong.
Hey, it's how you feel. It's not getting it wrong. We just want to know how you feel.
Oh, well, I take a more new school, I believe, because I'm not the type of person hit people back, because I don't really like fighting in general. But if I see something like that happening, I would definitely chime in and, break the situation up, because I don't feel like that should be something happening in public, and I don't think it should be happening.
Okay. All right. We take it. All right, Nadia. Well, you the one that brought it up, Nadia. So I kind of have an idea what your thoughts are, because you the one that peeped it. Everybody else looking at, the police
Uh,
officer having to shoot the young lady, but you actually peeped the young man on the side. Like, what's up with that? So give us your take on all that.
all right. So if they're playing, like if they're play fighting, then yeah.
Oh,
I'll
now hold
probably hit
on.
'em.
I'm gonna stop you for a minute because I ain't talking about they. Now I'm
No,
gonna
no,
talk about you.
no. I'm talking about the person that's hitting me.
Oh, okay, got you. All right.
Like if the person that's hitting me is play fighting, then I would probably hit them back. Just playing them, just messing around. But if they're serious, like actually trying to fight me, I'm not gonna hit them back because I don't want to get serious.
Now
And
you talking
I don't
about a
want
boy? You talking about a girl? You talking
a
about it don't
girl.
matter?
I'm talking about a girl. If a boy hit me, I'm fighting back.
You hesitate on that one. All right. Now you said if she trying to hit you seriously, what would you do?
I don't know. I'd probably just try to get away. Or I'll probably try to catch her. Like if she try to punch me, I'd probably like try to catch her hand. I've done that before.
Got you. So you kind of old school. You kind of with that. You trying to stay away from hitting girls and say, hey, no, it's all or none. We equal. They fighting for equal rights. So we just balling up like it's a dude. So you're not with that.
No.
You know some people like that though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, all right, get your stands up. Yeah. All right, Brandon, your turn, man.
I
And we
agree.
talking about you personally.
Me personally, yeah, I agree with that. See, he already trying to combat me when I start expressing my mind. I didn't even get a chance to get my idea yet, and he already trying to come at me like I did something wrong. You see how he treat me, everybody? All right, what happened behind camera? But yeah, I agree with that dear. If a girl try to come at me, and actually try to fight me, how does that make me look? Trying to fight a girl, trying to fight a female. That doesn't make me look like a man. That don't look any type of look manly at all. A lot of people do that, trying to show how tough they are, but how tough are you really you handle a female, and it's really, that's kind of corny to me, to fight girls back, because it's like it's you're always gonna have girls that's gonna be like, oh well, girls can be as strong as men, but it's like, if you put a skinny boy and a skinny girl right next to each other and they fight, which one you think will win? It's the skinny boy, because it's like men were built to be strong, to be husky. So if we and females, scientifically, all of their like muscular and strength is in their legs. And ours is always in our arm and upper body. So it's like, if you're hitting a female back and you're scientifically proven to be stronger, and it's corny, you're raised with the ideas, don't ever hit a girl back. That's corny to me. So yeah, I ain't gonna hit a girl back if she's serious.
Okay, all right. And about it, I know you just jumped on. Hopefully you can hear us, and hopefully you are there. We are talking about old school versus new school, because in our conversation, the young people were able to express themselves last week. And by the way, I gave you a shout out, Valda. Thank you for hosting us last week. Awesome job. And again, we celebrate you as a mother, celebrate you every day. 2 weeks ago, our young men, had the opportunity to share what their thoughts were when a young lady was being stomped. And one of the guys was like, look, hey, she girls are tough these days. They talk about equal rights. They swing, I'm swinging, just like a dude. What's your thoughts on, old school versus new school, and how would you raise, your young men?
Well, first of all, Rich, I just want to say hi to everyone. A special shout out to Brandon. Hey, Brandon, who really helped to keep things moving. Last week it was just so much fun having a chance to to work with him and Jay Olivia. When you talk about old school and new school, I guess I feel like there's certain values, I'm not to try to get super deep or whatever, but it's like certain values are certain values, and I think that sometimes people have kind of clouded stuff. I know that, when you hear, the guys talk about the fact that, hey, they know who they are, they know their role. They understand that, sometimes they have to, like, I guess, man up, as far as just being, accountable, being, responsible, and also knowing, like they said, sometimes people talk about, like playing, but the question is, like, I guess, at what point does the playing, like, I guess, cross the line? When people start to get serious, about, stuff, and then all of a sudden, you hear about, things being out of, control. Because again, when you talk about values and respect, I really do feel like, females should definitely look at how to respect the guy, and not feel like they're supposed to be, coming on like really trying to challenge them, a certain way. But again, just the fact that we constantly have that mutual respect, for each other. And, again, hearing like some of the guys talk about, like, hey, sometimes you do think about, hey, whether you just walk, if you can walk, as far as like, moving away from that situation. And at what point is it that you just have to kind of like say what, say what, as far as like, okay, so now what do I do, with this? I think that, so many people have kind of blurred the line in terms of, what does it mean when you're doing the right thing, and what does that right thing, look like? So I definitely have a lot of respect for the comments, that's been made, on here, because again, it's like I've seen some girls really, because the guys are like super nice and super cool, they think that they can kind of take advantage, let's say, of the of the situation, when the guys are just like, hey, look, hey, I'm cool, not trying to go there with you or do this or do that. And it's nice when people can respect that and know, like, okay, hey, look, there is a time to say, like, we're joking, we're playing, but then there's a time when enough is enough. Because again, you see how things get out of control, and how things go overboard, and then all of a sudden it's like, man, what did I do? What happened? And then sometimes you can't always do a replay. It's like, okay, so if I could do that over, what would I've done, differently, because hey, I didn't really mean it to go that way or go that far. So it's definitely a lot going on, especially you talk about how we communicating with each other, and how are we listening to each other, and how we're being cool with each other, and knowing that it is cool, and at what point it's not cool. So it can be tough, it can be rough.
Well, we definitely thank you for sharing, because I mean, there is such a disparity between way people think now. And I'm gonna use one of the words that you shared in your comments. You mentioned values, and so from a bringing everybody together standpoint, y'all know me. I gotta share what we teach. That way, if you're part of the BET family, you know kind of what our expectations are. Because if it doesn't fall in line of what we try to teach, I'm gonna address you. Now, I can't make you change your mind or your thought process, but I do have a responsibility, because let's look at BET like a home. In our house, this is how we serve. So, fellas, I'm telling you now, I see you putting your hands on a woman, that restrain them if they trying to hurt you, something like that. I got you. But if you just blatantly, just trying to, muscle up, stuff like that, I'm coming to get you too. I'm bringing a squad with me just in case. I ain't crazy. No, but we still old school in that manner, because I think part of what's missing is that people don't teach value, and not even just in this, but values are extremely important. And respect for another person, and even more so, since we're talking about respect for women and respect for young ladies, it's important that the young men of BET know that that's how we operate. So if you don't want me to come get you, you don't want me to come address you, make sure that you follow that old school thinking that you are. Now, there's some new school things I'm totally with, and we'll talk about that some other time. But in terms of that, since that was part of that conversation last week, I wanted to make sure I got a chance to address it. And for those who are just joining in and catching us on YouTube, I'm gonna remind you, because you hear the airplanes in the background, just in case. I'm out here in San Diego, California, but I couldn't leave. I couldn't be out here and not join y'all with BET Talks. So I'm not far from an airport, so you might hear that from time to time. Another conversation that came up, and we're gonna revisit this one too, So fellas, don't start blushing. Ladies, don't start blushing. Young girls, young men, whether you're on YouTube listening, the age that young people should start dating. Oh man, you should have heard. If you didn't watch BT Talks 2 weeks ago, you need to go on Facebook Live and watch it so you know why we having these conversations. Because again, people don't talk. Most of our kids don't seem like they had any conversations about it. They just going by what they see on Camp Kiki Nafwa, whatever it is on Nickelodeon and TV and stuff like that. You got to be mindful of what you pick up on and how you operate. So I'm gonna go with the young people again first. Brandon, you on there, Nadia, you on there, Zaire. What was your thoughts on the dating game and when y'all allowed to date, and if you had children, and what would that look like? I'm gonna start with you, Brandon, and I'm gonna go forward again. Brandon, Nadia, and then Zaire.
So you want me to talk about the show, or you want me to talk about?
Oh, you can do a little bit of both if you remember, because you can update people, and then I want the Brandon version.
All right. So if you want my honest opinion, last week's show, it sucked. I hated last week's show. I mean, not last week's show, the week before last show, not Mother's Day show. The week before last, I hated that show. I hated that show. But but one thing I can't say about it, it was a real conversation. It was a real conversation. It was necessary, depending on who you ask. But it was a real show. But I think we did come to a common understanding, about the right age, or the morally acceptable age to start dating. And if you're wondering why I say morally acceptable, because it varies from person to person, and you can see kind of the mindset and how it changes on the show that was 2 weeks ago. And so we came down that 16 was the right age, but is agreeable. I know a lot of y'all adults or teenagers most likely bring your first boyfriend or your first girlfriend to your parents at 16, and that's acceptable. But that's how I felt about last week's show, though.
That's funny. And y'all heard that. He's like, I hated that show. And all we did was just listen to the young people. It was so many different dynamics on there. But I can understand why. It was hard for us adults too. I won't go strong and say we hated it, but it sure was hard biting our tongue. That's why I'm glad we get a chance to at least, share a little bit with y'all today. And Sharice, if you can hear us out there, you got to join in, because you had some thoughts 2 weeks ago. All right, Nadia, what's your thoughts? And Brandon, you said, wait, before we go to Nadia, you said common understanding. Is that your understanding too? Is that where you are, or is that just a common understanding?
Say that again.
You said we came to a common understanding, but I wasn't sure because you were speaking collectively.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear the Brandon version.
Yeah, the reason why I say common understanding is because that was a lot of the answers to the question, including mine. I also said 16, but I said common understanding because that's what a lot of people besides myself also said. So
Okay, all right, and it got to that because it didn't start out that way. All right, but we got you. Cool. All right, Nadia, go ahead, man. Your turn.
I agree with Brandon. It kind of was like a common understanding, like we all said, about like around the same age. And like maybe like some people said a year past or so, but I felt like we all were like in agreement that age is a good time. Is a good time to start dating.
Now, for a lot of them, it started out younger. Why do you think it changed? I mean, what was it that changed? And did your mind change? Did you originally think around 16, or you saying earlier?
No, I originally thought like 15, 16 was good. But I'm not sure why it changed a lot towards the end. I'm not really sure. But I know I didn't second guess it.
Okay, all right. Okay, he said I didn't second guess it. Okay, he like, I'm firm. All right, Zaire, you might have missed that one 2 weeks ago, but what's your thoughts, man? That dating scene, because we had some ready to start like 9, 10 years old.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I hate to be that one person that has to disagree, but I personally feel like the age in which you can start, which I think is fine to start dating, I think it's 13, because that's when you like you're a teenager and, you start like growing, because as you grow, your emotion and stuff getting more stable and stuff. And then you can really understand what you start liking and stuff. And as a person who started dating before 13, I regret it. And that's why I feel like once you're 13, you're fully grown and stuff. So I feel like that's the appropriate age in which you can like start dating.
I was getting ready to say, yeah, it sounded like you had some experience there. So he's talking from experience, y'all. All right, Zaire, well, definitely thank you for sharing that. Y'all gonna get the BT version in a few moments, but I want to hear from some of our parents first. Valda, Mama Nakia, join in. What are y'all thoughts on that?
Wow, Richard, I wasn't sure if I really wanted you to come to me like this, because I may not be saying exactly what you might be thinking I'm going to say.
Hey, no, I don't look. It's all good. Hey, Brandon, tell her Brandon like controversy. He like when we all disagree.
Well, you know what? The reason why I say it like that is because I remember how I was told that, when I first go out on a date, I would be 16 years old. However, my first date was actually when I was 14. So, and when I say I was, 14 years old, and again, you hear some of the young people talk about dating. What's dating? Dating. Okay. It was actually going to the movies. And it was somebody that, it helps sometimes when you have male cousins. It's almost like having brothers and things like that, that's around. And, these were, and our home was the home where people would, kind of gather for social things and, playing music and everything. So when it came up about going to the movies, initially my parents were like, wait a minute, you're 14 years old, and blah, 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 blah. But then when it was like my dad, and see, now this is where you talk about old school, because it was really about my father actually driving us to the movies, and we were appreciative to actually have transportation to get there, like that. So, but it was somebody that I liked. It was somebody that, liked me, so we definitely liked the idea of thinking that we were on like a real date, and, the fact that we were dropped off at the movies and were able to come back, on our own, it was just fun. So I have to say that my first date was when I was 14 years old, but again, when we talk about dating, we're definitely talking about socializing, and mostly it was chaperone. But that was the cool part, as far as like going to the movies without any chaperones and just being able to chill and enjoy sitting next to each other and that kind of, thing. And then coming back, being able to hang out, at the house. And that was the extent of it, so, but I was 14.
Well, that wasn't surprising, Bobby. That wasn't surprising at all, because you still kept it old school too. Like you had the parents drove, you kind of knew what was going on. When you said I might be a little surprised, I was getting a little nervous, but that ain't far off from what I was thinking.
But Richard, let me say this to you also. Even though it was someone that the family knew, when you talk about old school, he had to ask my parents if it was okay for us to go to the movies together. Now, because he was a little older, he was like, why do I have to ask your parents? I asked you, can't we just go? And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. And my parents are like, hey, like if this is a guy and if he's really cool and everything else, then he knows that he should be talking to the parents and getting permission to be able to do it. So that's the part where it's like, he was a little nervous and everything else, but he felt like, okay, well, hey, if this is what I got to do, this is what I got to do. So he got choked up, it wasn't like that easy for him to, talk to my parents. My parents felt like, hey, if he's any kind of, right person, then he should feel cool and feel straight about, asking the parents, is it okay if, you know, we go to the movies together? Because they felt like that's, again, you talk about respect, we talk about values and being on the up and up. It's like, why not? So that earned him some points, even though he got choked up, you know, couldn't talk for a minute, you know, dry throat, needed some water. It was crazy. But in the end, the good part is that to this day, he and I are still friends.
Wow.
You know, we are still friends to this day. And I'm talking about something when I was 14 years old. So it must have been something about that old school approach. The fact that after all these years, you know, and we still laugh about it and talk about it, you know, but yeah, that's the way it was.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, Miss Gloria. What you think, Miss Gloria? If you're still there, share your thoughts about that and what you think. Yeah, I know we got the 3-second rule on BET Talk, so just in case the reception's not good or you stepped away for a second, I'm gonna take something Val to say and I'm gonna go back to our young men. Asking the other person's parent. And Zaire, I'm gonna start with you since you know your first date was like 8 years old, you know, in the pamper and stuff like that. You know, Zaire, did you ask the parents, or is that something you think is good, cool? I mean, we know you know a lot of times people don't. But what do you think about that concept? You know, did you meet the other parents? You know, what's your thoughts about all that, Zaire?
I'm just gonna address. I did not meet the other person's parents, but I always asked my mom for like permission on things. And around this time, I was like, "Is it okay?" Because like me and this person like each other. I never said date because I didn't want to like blow it out of proportion. I just said we like each other, and then it's fine. And I think the idea of asking the parents is number one, and I feel like it should always be followed because you know you got to make sure it's acceptable within your family.
Okay. All right. What about you, Brandon or Nadir? Wait, Valerie, you can ready to say something?
Yeah, you know, I was going to say something to, Zaire. And again, you know, when a guy shows that type of respect or confidence, I'll call it confidence also, you know, to be able to, you know, speak up, that way, and to be able to have a conversation, with the parents. I mean, that's definitely a way for parents to say, like, you know what, this person must be okay, you know, because they're able to actually talk, you know, they can actually hold the conversation and they can go, I guess, for some, it might feel like going in front of the firing squad, you know, as far as being ready for the parents to say, okay, so where are you going? What are your plans? And to know that this is a person that is comfortable or can get comfortable just talking to adults, you know, and having that, you know, that conversation, which makes the parent feel like, you know what, maybe it's okay, you know, for them to be able to do something like go to the movies together, or if a party comes up, knowing that, okay, the two of them are at the party together, you know. So there's definitely a lot of ways to win some points in there, talking to the parents.
Oh, definitely does. I'll share one experience momentarily after I hear from Brandon and or Nadir. What's your thoughts about that? You meet parents, haven't gotten to that stage yet, or just your thoughts about it in general? Talking to the parents, asking permission.
I agree with Zaire. I feel like you should definitely have to talk to the parents, make sure it's okay first. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And Brandon, I'm glad you last, Brandon. I'm gonna tell you why. For those who don't know, Brandon is on a radio show once a month. And one of the callers called in, I forgot what we were talking about. And the caller said, well, I want to hear from some guys that been through some stuff. And Brandon kind of got offended. So I'm glad you last, Brandon, because you know our gentlemen that's on here. First of all, y'all truly are gentlemen. And I'm proud to say that y'all are part of the BT family because we know everybody don't think like y'all do, and y'all know how I am too. So we're gonna try to help make sure for the most part. So Brandon, when you respond the Brandon way, but also why you kind of get upset when people say, "Oh, I want to hear from people that experience stuff." Because even in this topic, we know that this conversation can go so many different ways if we had, some young people on here, like 3 or 4 that just totally think different.
All right. So like, when it comes to extramission, of course you got extramission. I didn't know until now. I didn't think it was an option to not extramission. I never thought you just, not being adults, just not extramission. Of course you got extramission. Just somebody else's daughter just disappears. Nah. That's not gonna fly. Something happens and it's your fault. Nah. Of course you got extramission. It's just a sense of respect to ask for permission. If you're not asking for permission, how does that make their mother or father feel? That's a form of disrespect, depending on the way you take it. And speaking of disrespect, I did feel a little disrespecting when somebody did call in onto the show and said that they wanted to talk to somebody that been through stuff. Because first, I might seem like the most formal and go happy little guy, but of course I still live in Philadelphia. I still been through and have gone through all the trials and tribulations that many people have gone through and have succumbed to. But fortunately, I was strong enough to get through it, and I was strong enough to find something positive to really spread my gifts and be able to talk on a platform that would actually lead me to success in life. A lot of people were not as lucky as me. They weren't as lucky to have, a lot of people call it their Uncle Phil, but to have my Uncle Rich live on my block. A lot of people weren't that lucky. And I could have easily have fallen down a bad path. It would have been very easy, very, very easy. And when I hear people say that, because they don't know what goes through when the camera shuts off. They don't know where I go back home to. They don't know where I live. They don't know even, well, y'all do, but what my room looks like. They don't know if I get fed or if I'm struggling at home. They don't know if when I go outside, I'm worried about ducking my head or getting shot. They don't know that. He said that he wanted to talk to people that have been in juvenile detention. You don't know if I come from juvenile detention, if I've been inside of juvenile detention. You don't know if I've done some crazy stuff and I just decided to turn my life around. You don't know. And of course I got offended by that, because what if it was somebody that was really going through something like that and have really been through that on that show at that time and really got offended? I don't always have to, look my side of me that, have been in the streets and have to learn how to navigate throughout the streets. I shouldn't have to, bring that side out when it's something positive. You shouldn't mix positive with negative when there's no need to. Where that subject, we were talking about violence. Why would I talk about me being in juvenile detention and violence? Why would I do that? Of course I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to mix the two, because juvenile detention is where you end up after you just committed an act of violence, or if you committed any type of crime. Why would I want to talk about ending up there after why would I talk about me coming out of there? And it's kind of offensive because, like I said before, you don't know what a lot of people could have been. Nadir could have been there. I'm not going to spread his business, but I'm sure that he does know people that have gone through things like that. So it is very offensive to hear when people say that, and it makes me sad to hear people say that, because even if you don't mean it in a type of negative way, and don't get me wrong, what they had to say is legitimate, and they've been through it. They've been through a lot of things, stuff that I probably couldn't even be able to imagine. And of course, their word is valid. But right now, when you're talking to me, don't try to disrespect me by trying to count my words off as soon as you see me. Don't do that. Hear what I have to say. Then you can judge me after what I say. But let me finish speaking first. Then you can respond to me. And when you respond to me, it was a completely different way that this gentleman could have wrote it. He could have said it, oh, I want to, talk to young people that have even just said, I want to talk to young people that have really experienced firsthand violence, which I have. you know, or experienced been the person behind the meds, been the person that was the person committing violence and have gotten in trouble. I want to talk to those youth. But no, he said that basically that my words wasn't respectable and legitimate, and my words wasn't what he wanted to hear or what he had to hear. You know, when my words are still the words of the street. It's still the same words. I'm just being able to translate it in a way that people will want to listen. That's all.
That was deep. You know?
Yeah.
That was deep, Brandon.
I just want to comment also, you know, Brandon, and of course, I wasn't on the conversation, don't have any idea who it is that you're talking about or you're referring to. But first of all, I've always respected the fact that you are so mature, Brandon, you know, and you have such words of wisdom that far beyond your age, you know. Also, you know, and this is just keeping it real, if you don't mind me saying it like that, you know, because whoever that person was should have understood that if you're talking to anybody from the inner city, they know something. You know, they know something, you know, and it doesn't have to mean that you had to serve time, you know, locked up somewhere to know something, you know, and to know that you can share some of the same stories, you know, all kinds of things that you have as far as, you know, experience. You know, that's the reason why there's a song, it's a spiritual song that says, hey, you don't know my story, you know, and how sometimes people try to judge somebody, trying to say like, okay, I need to talk to somebody who's been here, who's been there, or whatever. But hey, guess what? You don't know my story, you know, and my story doesn't necessarily have to be that different, you know, just because I haven't been at this spot. However, I do live here and I've been there and I still have to come out of my door. And I still got to get to this place from that place, you know, and hey, I still got to kind of look over my shoulder. I still got to check out my surroundings. I still have to know how to be cool, you know, so that I can have a sense of what we call survivor skills, you know, and being able to survive the inner city, you know. So, you know, again, I have total respect for the fact that you were offended, you know. I mean, I get it. You know, I get it. I'm just not sure who this person was to have not gotten it. You know, so all I can say is, you know, just congratulations, because I'm sure that you know, this person, I like to think that as a result of your being on that call, that when they got off, they were a little wiser, you know, and a little smarter, you know, because of they're having an opportunity to meet somebody like you.
Thank you, Ms. Valda.
Oh, I'm gonna say this. The next show, Brandon, I'm gonna make sure I bring it up. I don't know if that person got a chance to hear Brandon's passion about that comment, because he didn't get a chance to respond. In fact, Brandon mentioned it to me after the show. The fortunate thing about the show is that the host, you know, allows the young people to come up with the topics. So we're gonna find a way to make sure that you get a chance to express that again, because the viewers need to hear that. Now, hopefully that particular audience member will be on there as well. But it is a conversation people need to hear. On the other end of it, sometimes we do understand. You know, people who are on drugs say, hey, how are you going to help me come out of drugs if you've never been on it? How are you going to help me stop selling if you never done it? How are you going to help me stop doing this if you never done it? So, you know, sometimes we understand where it comes from, but I'm with you. They don't know our story, don't know what you've been through. So, again, I ain't going to go, you know, I can go in deep on that too. But certainly appreciate your comments. Now, before I bring in the last piece, we're going to do a couple of announcements. And I did tell you I'll share a brief piece to close out that topic about the dating. You know, it's funny in meeting parents. Jada knows that I want to meet, you know, anybody she talking to, you know, I want to meet him. And I remember, you know, it's funny. I try, y'all know I'm nice. I try to smile, but that dad side come out. You know, I be preparing. When I know I'm getting ready to meet one of her friends, you know, I try to talk like this. You know, my voice can get a little high sometimes, got all that energy. And I say it to myself. And as soon as that young man come up there, everything changed. Well, how you doing today? I'm Mr. Washington. Nice to meet you. I mean, like in less than 3 seconds. Like I'm prepared to be nice to everything else and just can't help it. You know, even the handshake, you know, I know I already got a strong grip, but for some odd reason, it just gets stronger, you know, right away. So, you know, just wanted to share that with y'all. That, yeah, you know, from a BET standpoint to our young people, we don't necessarily put an age on what we expect. Yeah, we do prefer that high school age. So I will say that. We don't want y'all being pampers like Zaire going around collecting numbers, you know, all right? I'm just messing with you, Zaire. I know you know that. But I will say this. Y'all know us. We gonna make sure you know you're doing what you're supposed to do in school. You respect around the house, because if you're not showing maturity at all, you know, from our standpoint, we're gonna talk to your parents. You know what? They going out. They got all F's on their report card, and they're not even trying. They absent every day. They're not listening to you. Oh no, then we got some issues with that, because we want you to at least demonstrate that you're mature enough, because then that also lets us feel comfortable that you're going to be mature with that other young person as well. Doing things that you ain't got no business doing is out of the question. And I know that came up too. And I was glad that y'all brought that up, that y'all said that dating was more like going to the movies, maybe a holding hands and stuff like that. But anything that's grown, you know, that's a whole nother topic that y'all would, you know, do your best to refrain from that. And we know in terms of peer pressure that can be a challenge too, because with all the things on TikTok and Snapchat and all of, you know, and Twitch and all the other stuff we see and hear, sometimes you seem like you're corny if you ain't all that involved, but you ain't got to be like that. You know, definitely grow up being mature and handling your business and making sure that education and that all around respect is primary. If not, like I said in the other comment, I'm gonna come get you myself. All right. So a couple of quick commercials. Brandon, I'm gonna turn it over to you after I make this one. Next week on our show is God Matters, and that is a part of our next question, just kind of giving you a hint. And so we're excited about what's been going on so far with BET Talks, but that spiritual piece is extremely, extremely important. Anything that you might miss, Brandon, I'll go ahead and share, but I do want to warn people, don't be scared to come on next week when we talk about God Matters, because God is certainly important, and I charge you and dare you to make that sacrifice to be here, and then you'll realize it's not even a sacrifice. Brandon, share some of the announcements that we had.
All right, so you know, I feel like this is a little bit of a quiz for me to remember, you know, that I sparked last week for me to remember the announcements. And yes, I do accept this. I've done this to myself. But so hold on. Listen, if I get all these announcements, all right, I gotta get a bonus. All right, I gotta get a bonus. Nah, just joking. But all right, so first, always, we do have BET Helps on BET. We have our new BET Helps program that has been a great success. We were doing this for a little while now, but just let us know if you ever need, or if you know anybody that needs tutoring, or you want to be a tutor yourself. Make sure to email us, or you can just go to our website at mybetfamily.com. I'll have all our info up there, and how to reach Mr. Washington, how to contact him. And if you want to become a tutor for BET Helps, just make sure you email him or call him and let him know. Or if you need to join our program, you know, just ask Mr. Rich for the link to the Zoom, and we'll hook you up. And also, is my jacket up here? I gotta make sure I got my jacket. All right, yeah, it's here. Hold on. This is my favorite jacket in my wardrobe. All right, listen. Go get yourself your BET jacket, or your varsity jackets. We've been the youth council has been asking for this for years. Since the youth council started, we've been asking for them, because we always see Mr. Rich with his leather jacket, and we be like, "Yo, Uncle Rich, where's ours at? We work hard too. We want one." But you know, it was a special occasion, you know, and also it just so happened under my presidency. All right, let's make sure to pay attention to that. But you know, you got your name on the red breastplate. Right here, bang. All right, you see the branding, extra nice and shiny. You know, I take care of my jackets. You got the BET logo on the front and the back, on the left side and the back, and then you have Ephesians 4:32 right here. God Matters. All right, next show coming next week, coming out soon to a theater near you. All right, so make sure you guys go and buy one. You know, when you see the quality that is inside, that is put into this jacket, you'll understand the price. The price tag is $125, and a lot of y'all gonna be like, "Oh, stop the show right there." All right, $125, y'all's bugging. All right, just when you see it, you'll understand. All right, just get it. I promise you're gonna be worth it. You're gonna be walking down the street feeling like $1,000. All $1,000,000. What am I talking about? $1,000. That's cheap compared to this jacket. All right. Y'all, $1,000. Are you kidding me? Go get yourself your $1,000,000 BET jacket. But anyway, and also we do BET talks every Saturday. And we come up with a lot of the different topics and we do it on our own. But if you have any topics that you would like to see us talk about, make sure that you let us know. And just like we said on the website, go on the website, go email us. We want to communicate with y'all because we know that a lot of you watch the show every single week. So make sure that you go over to our website and go check it out. Or if you want to be updated with anything that we do throughout the BET program, make sure you go follow us on any type of social media platform. Snapchat coming soon. But listen, everybody, we love you, we adore you, and this is not the end of the announcement, so don't cut me off, Uncle Rich. Just letting them be known. And also, if you're not on Zoom right now, if you are on Zoom right now, but a lot of you aren't, a lot of you be watching this later on YouTube or watching it now on YouTube Live. But I can ask, all right, Mr. Nakia Dillard has his own program, y'all. All right, listen, I was in his program. What was I in? Fourth? I had to be fifth grade. I still remember every single lesson. All right, that just shows how good he is at his job. And not only that, he has been on some major TV shows, y'all. He's been on Black Lightning. He's been on Split. He's been on what was that movie called? Pipeline. He was on what was that movie? He's been on. Listen, if you see a picture of him, you're gonna be like, wait, is that the guy from? And then you're gonna remember the movies. All right, his face is very unforgettable. You're gonna see it. You're gonna be like, hey, I know him. What movie do I know him from? You're gonna ask Mr. Rich, be like, hey, do you know him? You're gonna be like, hey, that's Mr. Nakia Dillard. You want to get your own? You want to get, wait, hold up, get tongue tied. You want to get some acting lessons from this professional actor? Make sure we hook you up over our Aiken X. Go get your lessons today. Go call him. Just if you want to reach him, like we say, go on our BT website. Go reach Uncle Rich. Go reach Mr. Washington. I'm sorry. Go reach him and he'll connect you to. And also, hold on, gotta remember, if you want to see more of BT Talks, and you like what we doing, and you're like, hey, these young folks, they deserve a little something for what they're saying, what they're doing, a little bit of compensation, and a lot of you, I wish that I could say that you were saving your money, but a lot of you have been very generous and have been giving us stuff. But if you notice and you see people are giving and you like, man, I see that people are giving money to these young folk. And I know that these last couple of weeks I haven't had it, but I wish I could donate to them. Look no further. Just go over to Amazon Smile, because I know that y'all be on Amazon every single day. Y'all don't even gotta be buying stuff. Y'all just be window shopping through your phones. Y'all just be looking like, a tent? I don't go camping, but I can use this. Buy it, and then all you gotta do is go over to your settings real quick, click Amazon Smile, sign up, put in the program that you want to donate to, and bang, bada boom, you done. And a little bit, and I repeat, nothing ever changes your price for anything that you're buying. All it does is just cuts a little bit off the top and then gives it to us so you can provide more content for y'all. And also, not only do we do content, but we also bring youth all over Philadelphia to help them get a better and bright future, to keep them, like you said, off of the streets. And we help them out with all the programs that we do. We do chess clubs, we do choirs, we do everything. I can't just name them all, sit here and name it all. We do it all. So make sure that y'all, and if y'all want to be a little bit more, be like, no, that's not enough. I gotta give them some more. And instead of just going over onto Amazon, just buying a bunch of stuff, because you don't need to do that, just to donate to us. All right. Go over to our website and go to click donate. And if you want to use PayPal, or you can go to $Cash App, mybtfamily.com. All right. Donate right there is right there if you want to make sure that you want to donate to us. And like that, I'm pretty sure that I got all the announcements just about. Did I get them all?
You did, just about. We got the male mentorship program, which has been on every Wednesday.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We have been I'm pretty sure I'm going to every single one male mentorship group. So if you guys are interested or know any young men that are in need of some guidance or just want to learn some morals for yourselves, because we've been talking about all show how it's important to learn morals for yourself to be able to respect yourself as a man. If you want to be able to have some programs like that, and not only that, just be able to have a conversation with actual people, because it's difficult for a lot of people, especially in this day and age, to actually be able to meet up and talk to people. So if you want to be able to, come on there and talk with us, just go over, like I said, listen, just check out the website. We got everything up there. If you want to talk to Mr. Rich or you want to talk to me, just go up there. Information's up there, but go contact Mr. Rich and he'll send you the Zoom link and you can come on there and talk with us. And get them all. Is it good? Are we golden?
For the most part, we golden, Brandon. I'm going to share a couple of things too. Next week, I believe it's next week, the Youth Engagement Conference in Philadelphia is going to be here. I'm one of the guest speakers, and we're going to expect some of our young people to participate. I believe it's Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. So reach out to me if you want to sign up your young people. And then I also want to give a shout out again to Brandon. Brandon was recently asked to speak at an event. All right, he's been contracted, so y'all can see that energy. If you need Brandon for something, I'm putting it out there for you, Brandon, because you're doing such an excellent job. And he needs a little change in his pocket. So if you need him to come speak to your group or organization, he's never said that before, but I'm putting it out there because, again, we know it's a desire of his, and he's doing such an awesome job. So once I get the details as to when that is, y'all can come on out and, listen to Brandon too. So, Brandon, this thing has really been working for you, man. I'm glad that you're a part of it and that you did such an excellent job. You didn't have any notes in front of you. This is your world, man. So we're really looking forward to great things from you. And again, back to next week. Again, God matters, which takes me to our final question as we get ready to close out. God is extremely important. And going back to, our values with BT, it's not BT is not a Christian organization, but that is certainly our principles. And as Brandon mentioned, Ephesians 4:32 on the jacket, it says, be kind one to another, tenderhearted, giving one another, even as God for Christ has forgiven you. What we teach, all right, because we want to be able to take care of each other. We want to make sure we learn to forgive, because we certainly need to be forgiven for the things that we even do ourselves. So next week, God matters. Agree? Some of you may disagree. We have all kinds of folk out there. You have atheists, you have Muslims, you have Christians, you have a little bit of everything. But we teach God matters. I challenge you to join us and let's share in work. So to our young people, when you talked about 2 weeks ago, there were certainly mixed feelings, all right, in terms of where you are spiritually. Just in closing, and I'll start with our adults time, then a couple of our young people, and then I'm going to close this out. How important it is to have God in your life? What's missing spiritually? What are some things that are old school you think should still be here? All right, Valda, Miss Gloria, if you want to share now, and again, you don't have a lot of time because we already closed out. This is just a quick hint and taste test of what might be coming towards you next.
Yeah. Richard, I am one of those ones that I have to say, I'm just so happy that when I was Brandon's age and Nakia's age, that I already had the opportunity to understand how important God was, in my life. That doesn't mean that, there weren't times when you didn't really think about it the same kind of way, but the blessing is knowing that it's real, and to know that it's a source of strength, it's a source of comfort, it's a source of encouragement, and so much more, when you understand that, you're not in this struggle by yourself, and to just have that, and to know that it's a place that you can go to. And sometimes you feel like maybe you have no place else to go. And to go there in good times and in bad times, and I'll leave it there.
Well, thank you for sharing about it. It is extremely, extremely important to us. And even when we're talking about it, trust me, y'all, we're going to have fun with that too. Sometimes when we talk about, spiritual stuff or God stuff, you think it's all serious. And no, it's not. We're not having church next week. So you don't be afraid to come on. But we know how important it is to have some sort of spirituality in your lives. with all the things that are going on, all the foolishness. If we don't have a spiritual background or at least a sense of conviction for something, we're in trouble. We see what's going on around our city now. Any of our young people want to respond to how important, God or spirituality is to you?
Oh yeah, of course. God is always number one priority. All right. And of course, I'm not one of those Christians that is going to sit down here and tell you about why you should convert to Christianity and why a lot of things happen because you're not Christian, or why your life is bad because you're not Christian and you don't have God in your life. I'm not the type of person, because as long as you have some type of spiritual guidance in your life, then you're set. Eventually, if you want to, it has to be a choice to come to God. So if you're not specifically religiously or spiritually ready to accept God, that's fine. But just know that God always will love you. Even if you don't know God yet, he knows you and he loves you. So and just make sure that anything, even if you're not Christian, anything that you do is always not always for yourself. Make sure that you always try to at least work for others. I forgot what it was called. It was it was you last, and then it was God for it. What was it that we did at camp?
It's joy. Jesus first,
joy.
yourself last, and others me.
Yeah. It was joy. Jesus first, others second, and then you last. And even if it's just oi for you, then just make sure that you still live by that concept. Just try to put, others first before yourself. But yeah, that's all I have to say about God.
Well, certainly appreciate those comments and the feedback. And before I close out, sent me a text, said, "What you doing on the West Coast?" I'm out, visiting family, spreading that BET love tour. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not out here long, but it was long overdue, and certainly necessary. Not particularly a vacation, but certainly because we believe in family, and so and know that no matter where we are, it's important that we stay connected. And because of COVID, of course, I had my reservations. I think I know they said ask on. I ain't gonna lie, about 2, 3, 4, 5 of them on, just to make sure. And all those things are, getting a little bit better, protected, and come back home as safe and sound and as protected as possible. So definitely out here with, family, just spreading and some love. Thank you, Valda. Thank you, Valda, for being here and asking. Maybe you got to join us. Announcements we didn't share is that our youth council, again, is certainly up and running. Brandon, you can do that invitation if you want to invite some young people out. I'm talking about travel. That is one of our goals for next year as well. We have some connections with people in Africa, a few other places. We might travel the state first, but for the youth council members, we want you to experience as much as you can. So as the president, Brandon, you want to send an invitation out for people to join the youth council?
Well, first thing I gotta say, that first burst of energy for the announcements was gone. But but I always got energy for BET whenever it has. But so youth council, so one of the first programs I ever joined in BET besides the choir, a lot of y'all didn't think I know how to sing. I got this deep voice, didn't know I knew how to sing, huh? But yeah, I used to be a part of the choir. But when I discovered the youth council and everything that it had to offer me, of course I jumped for it. I'm not one to say no to bad opportunities, but I'm not one to say no to good opportunities. I meant to say, but the youth council. I'm not going to tell you all the things that we do, all the great things that we do, because you have to join and see that for yourself. And especially, I don't want y'all coming just because y'all want to be a part of some of the things that we be doing, some of the fun things we be doing. But I want you to be there for the work that we do. And if you are still interested in BET Youth Council and want to be a part of, the brains behind BET, I welcome you to join our program. And come with us, you know, with a lot of things that we do.
All right, and I have one final announcement for you, Brandon. I got a text from a young man who's actually a part of youth council, and he said, you know, it was his birthday this week, and he wanted to give you a shout out. So I called him. I said, you know what? I'm gonna put you on speakerphone so you can say it personally. Say hello to the folk on the Zoom, boy, man.
Hey everybody, it's TJ. Brandon, I want to say happy belated birthday, bro.
Yo, what's up, TJ?
What's up, bro?
Yo, thanks, man.
No problem.
Yo, I wish I could be over there and, you know, you could say happy birthday to me in person. But I'm glad to hear from you. And I'm glad to hear you good.
Wish you could see you in person, so you can say happy birthday in person. But glad that you're good. And y'all see how we are right here on the Zoom, y'all. We take care of you know, what a surprise. And I know T, you know, I was gonna call him to be a part of the show. We actually closing out now, TJ. So your timing was certainly impeccable. So all those who are listening, we appreciate you. Again, we challenge you and to join us next week on BET Talks. Thank all of you for joining. And guess who I saw last week too? Brandon and Val and guests. I got a chance to hang out momentarily with Michael Woodard and Ms. Wood. So they are out here in the California area. So I want to give them a shout out. Make sure y'all check Follow the Alligator on Netflix. And also his single is again this week. So y'all support Michael J. Woodard, y'all. One of the team members who was one of the finalists in American Idol a couple of years ago, who was doing great things. And until next week, much love. Have a great day on purpose. Spread love on purpose. And certainly be blessed on purpose. Take care, everyone. God bless.
God bless. Take care.